definitely came across documentation before. When you buy something, it comes with a how-to manual. Well, for computer programming languages, that how-to manual is called the documentation. And so it's a guide that tells you how to use your product. In this case, it's a language. So for code.org, I took a little screenshot of it. If you mouse over, if you mouse over any block, you will see a little bubble pop up. And right underneath there's C example. So when you click on that, you will see this kind of screen pop up with a bunch of information related to that text block. Okay, there's a little joke about that, and like programmers oftentimes joke with each other that okay, if you're not sure how to do something and you go over to your senior like software developer, your manager, or someone else that seems like they know what they're doing, you ask like, oh, how to use the text block, and then you usually get the reply, did you read the documentation? And then you put your head down in shame and you go back because actually you didn't read the documentation and you were just lazy. So you should definitely build up this habit of reading the documentation. In this example, I pulled up the text block, and because it may be useful. Maybe on like your flag, you have some words. Maybe you want to write a little paragraph about it, describe to your user, this is the like Austrian flag, this is the Brazilian flag, and whatnot. So I found this might be useful, and I want to demonstrate how I would walk through the documentation, utilize it as a new learner. I switch over to my code.org stuff. So I'm going to find that text. Okay, it's under drawing. So again, you can mouse over. It's very convenient. And then you click on See Example. It brings up this pop-up window, and at the very top it says Draw text on the display positioned at X and Y. Awesome. The next section tells you a bunch of examples, and if you want to be more precise, you can read this paragraph. It looks like the text block relates to the text font, text size, and the align. So that's great. Over here, okay, these handy dandy examples, it's great. It's based in text though, so when you copy and paste that, and let's say I want to use this, I want to also display hello world in the top left corner. Notice code.org has really good style. They're commenting, describing what this line of code does. And some of you are ready for this, maybe some not so much. But for the purposes of using their documentation, you will have to click the Show Text button and then paste it in like over here, okay? And then when you switch back to blocks, you still get the block mode over here. I noticed there was a new line. Let me delete that because it may mess things up. Like that. Click Show Blocks. Okay, there we go. So I have text Hello World 1010. So I expect it to be very close to this upper left-hand corner because the coordinates are a little different, and it should say Hello World. Let's see what happens. Reset. Run. I guess it says Hello World. It's blue colored. That's not what I expected. And I imagine right now that stroke is affecting it. So maybe over here, I'm going to drag over no stroke or stroke, and let's make it green. Reset, run. Good. Looks like something else is amok. So we go back to the documentation, text, hover over, see example. Something else is going on right now. Okay, I notice it has str. If you're confused on what that stands for, we scroll down. Str stands for string, text to be displayed. We'll talk about these types later in this class. For now, pay attention to the name of these arguments, inputs. These are the numbers or words you've been changing. That's the text we want to be displayed. Somehow, kind of grayed out over here, that's hello world. Next thing, x and y, that's the coordinate number. And here's the part that's kind of messing with us. We notice there's two more numbers we could add to here, x2, y2. Let's scroll down and see what those numbers represent. x2, the location in pixels of the lower right-hand corner of a rectangular area to display the text should be a number from 0 to 400, blah, 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 blah. And then the y, y2, the location in pixels of the lower right-hand corner of the rectangular triangle area to display the text. Notice the language is rather specific, it's highly technical. That's one of the pitfalls with documentation. They have to be precise so that it's not ambiguous, but as a reader, especially for those new to this kind of stuff, we have to do some parsing. So at this point, I'm going to draw a little thing on the board because it really helps you to visualize it this way. There's the dot, right? That's like 1010. And it looks like by default, there's some set length. But over here, the right-hand corner, this thing is your x2, y2. Okay? So if you want to display hello world, right? Imagine like right now, whatever the set length is, it got cut off and then kind of got squished and it did something like that. Hello world, which is why we saw that green blob. I'm going to add in a couple more numbers here and let's see if we can get the whole thing to display. Okay? Questions so far? I'm demonstrating in real time how I would make sense of like a new quote unquote block. And also trying to demonstrate like, okay, it's not working how I think it is. It's a very common thing in computer programming. And so maybe I'll do like 50. And notice here, I'm adding in more numbers, right? These are optional numbers, but since I want to have more control of the behavior, I want these numbers in. Let's have it be 50 pixels down, over, and then 100 this way. Let's see what happens. Oh, nope. Let's have it be 200. Reset. Oh, that's better. Let's have it go down more. Another 200. So it's a little box. Not long enough. Maybe 300. Reset. Run. I'm still not sure what's happening. Maybe if I just say hi. Let's see if the word is too long. Okay. What's going on? Over here, I have to go read some more. Maybe I can fiddle around some more and play around with these numbers. Text size, text font, text align. Looks like I may deal with size because I feel like the size of this is not what I'm expecting it to be. Size, number, string, returns nothing. Look down here. You can also specify fill, stroke, and stroke weight before calling text to change the color and the outline used. Nice. So maybe I'm going to go, stroke, fill, no. Stroke I used, stroke weight, let's see. Let's make it a bit smaller, right about here. Let's make it back to 1. Reset, run. Oh, sweet. If you zoom in a lot, you can see the word too much. Blast. The projector's not cooperating. Okay, but for those up in the front, you kind of see high, right? So it looks like it was a stroke weight that made the thickness of our letters way too big, which is why we saw a little green blob there. So now, if I go back and type in hello world, reset run, it fits, okay? Now we see those words. Okay, hello world, exclamation mark over here, nice. And let's say I want to experiment with the other related blocked font text size. I want to make it bigger. 12, let's see what happens. That's default, let's double it. Change this to 24. Oh, that's way too big. 24, reset, run. Awesome, it doubled. Okay? So I'm demonstrating the behaviors that you already are getting used to, experimenting with the blocks, trying out some numbers, and now you have another resource of the documentation to go to. I'm trying to set this up for later. Let's make it red. Let's call this, eventually I will get this thing to look like the eye of Sauron. I want it to be red, right? Is that the appropriate color? And then I'll change this to something very red, 255, 0, 0, and let's see what happens. Yeah, I'm getting closer, okay? That's the end of this lecture. I will stop recording. The time is yours. You got about 30 or so minutes to wrap up Olympic rings, and then your national flag assignment, get a head start on that. It is due next Friday.